Ba-dum. We're adding in a bonus episode. We've
How
missed our
lucky are
sleepy
you?
D's. I know, our sleep detectives we've been missing doing the actual sleep consulting.
We do.
But we've been trying to figure out what's the new format. What does Nap Trap 2026 and a half look like, we say in April?
Well, I'd like to hear actually from, some feedback from the listeners as to
Yes, tell us what you
they'd
want.
prefer. Like, do you like the sleep detectives included in your one episode through the week, or do you prefer it to be a little bonus episode, that you can sort of tune into on a different day? I think we're happy with either option, whatever floats your
We're at the whim
boat.
of the Nap Trap listeners. Please tell us what to do. Somebody, please tell us what to do. Well, Beck, we're about to tell Bridget what to do in the nicest way, who DM'd me to say, "Hi, Sally. I have a 9-month-old and our sleep has recently turned south ever since my daughter got a head cold. It has been 2 weeks of crap nights of simply being unable to resettle her. We have worked with a sleep consultant in the past, which I did actually reach out to her, and she said that we basically need to start sleep training again because of the regression. Just wondering your thoughts or if any of your programs are suited. Thanks." And I thought this was a really great question for us to unpack, because these are really common real life moments where, particularly after sickness, your amazing sleeper is not such an amazing sleeper. Is it a full reset of sleep training? Where do we start in this moment?
I think also that age plays a big part in this, because there's a lot of things going on developmentally. And we would always, as we talk about in most Sleepy D episodes, we've got to do the audit. Like, we've got to start with the audit. It's so hard when little ones are unwell, because we start adding extra things in to try and get them off to sleep and sleep well,
which sometimes we absolutely have to. Sometimes all those rules have to go out the window.
100%. And as we're heading into winter in the southern hemisphere, we're probably going to have a lot more sniffles and colds and flus and all the things. So it's probably very relevant to a lot of our listeners now. But let's just say Bridget's daughter is feeling 100% better now, and she's got all the hoo-ha still left overnight in terms of, like, it's just not happening. We would just go back and we would revise we'll do the room environment, just double check she's nice and warm all through the night. Is it the correct TOG rated bag? Is it still super dark? All the things. We want to make sure all of that is tickety-boo. And then I think it's a case of, let's look at the structure of the day. Have we, are we on 3 naps or are we on 2 naps? And I would imagine that if the daughter has been dropped to 2 naps, this is probably a good time to maybe potentially reintroduce the third one back again, just to even things out while we sort of work on the nights. What do you think?
I think it would depend on how the days are looking. If she's smashing out 2 90-minute, like if everything is lined up, then I'd probably think let's just tackle the nights. But if the nights have taken a hit and days are feeling messy, I would absolutely regroup to 3, and it feels like a backward step. I hear you, okay? But it's so temporary to get to bedtime, to then, if you need to re-sleep train, then it's going to be easier. So you get to bedtime in a really well-rested place, compared to we got 2 45-minute naps and we've been up 10 times overnight and everyone is desperately tired.
Well, it's a vicious cycle. If you've got that 2 45 minutes in through the day, they're going to go into the night overtired. You're going to have a battle on your hands overnight anyway. And so I understand why parents are sort of like, oh my God, I don't want to have to work so hard to get that third nap in. We would strategically cap and place and all the things to get the third nap in and make it as short as humanly possible just to get through your day. But that hard work that you do to get that third nap into the mix can make a huge difference overnight. One, to their how well rested they are going into the night, and that they could organically
just sleep better.
Sleep better. 2, to the resettling, that sort of, if you do need to resettle, they're more receptive to it because they're not so wired with cortisol. And 3, because I can't even think of the third one.
I think it might give parents confidence too. They can easily rule out, okay, you've had 4 great milk feeds, 3 meals of solids, 3 great-ish naps. This is now just a matter of resettling and bringing those sleep skills back out. And I think that's really important. So rather than framing it as I'm doing sleep training 101 all over again, it can feel like that, particularly after a few weeks of like, where has my amazing sleeper disappeared to? But you're just hitting reset. And it is common and normal to need to do it after sickness, after travel, like there are lots of moments that even I will put my hand up, I've had to do a reset. It's usually very, very short-lived because that skill set is already there. We're just enticing it back out and resetting the expectation and boundary, I guess, if you will, about what happens at bedtime and what happens for each overnight waking. And your baby's going to be incredibly receptive because they're like, oh, this old thing. Okay, fine. They're not doing the Vicks Vapor Rub and the nappy changes and the temperature taking and all the things you've had to do. This is really boring and I'm really tired. But equally, I'm well rested from the 3 strategic naps. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to do what I already know how to do. I just, for the last few weeks, haven't had to do that. And they just not in on the plan. I would say it highlights, and I'm not saying this to Bridget because I don't know the degree of sickness. This is just a general note for listeners. It is why we would say when sickness occurs, we usually just keep everything the same. We don't chop and change with timings and add in more sleep here and an extra feeds here, generally speaking, because otherwise what can happen with the rate of viruses and colds that are part of a normal childhood and developing immune system, they are little petri dishes that you will forever feel like you either can't get back on track with better sleep or that you are constantly re-sleep training. And it can feel a bit tricky of like, oh, I want to be doing more. But if anything, we would say remain consistent with the sort of the status quo. Of course, Panadol, Nurofen, if that's your jam, absolutely. I know that's your jam and my jam, Beck. We stay on top of pain relief. So there are other things you can be doing, but in terms of sleep expectations, I would always go into the night assuming the norm, and then I would react if and when needed so that I minimized the chance of ongoing chopping and changing, but also meant that if they then did sleep really well, they could take the sleep that they needed in order to start feeling better as well.
That's really important to me and that's what I try and encourage my families to do. Consider your day is just getting to bedtime. You want to maximize their ability to sleep well overnight for the restorative benefits so that they start to feel better much more quickly. I think, if we go too gung-ho with extra sleep in through the day, like let's keep them, let's give them a 4-hour nap through the day. Ultimately, that is going to, not for all babies, of course, this is a generalization, but for a lot of babies and toddlers, if we've given them a 4-hour nap in the morning and a 1-hour nap in the afternoon, sleep is going to be impacted overnight, and they're not going to be able to have that nice restorative chunk. The only thing that you'll be thinking of overnight when they're waking is that they're feeling really sick, when actually it's a sleep pressure issue, and they're two different things. And so it doesn't create that clarity overnight that I like families to have, when it comes to, is my little one feeling better? Are they getting better? Are they getting worse? But
it doesn't even have to be as dramatic as 4 hours in the morning. It could just be that instead of your usual 45, they take 90 minutes. And then nap 2 is a bit shorter, or nap 2 is fine, but then they skip nap 3.
Yeah.
And then
they sleep through a feed,
and then you think I got to add in a feed overnight when they haven't traditionally needed it. Now, of course, there's sickness and there's sickness. So take this with a grain of salt, but that would be our general advice for the really run-of-the-mill head cold, as Bridget sort of aptly described it. But in saying that, yes, you sometimes do need to hit reset, but it's not a full-blown sleep training. Like, we got to rip the Band-Aid.
It's just enticing the sleep skills back out again, isn't it? And babies love patterns and they're pattern seekers. We bang on about this all the time. If you have had to do some sleep work before and you've created this pattern of response, they're going to very, very quickly cotton back onto that and understand what it is, the expectation is around them and their sleep and what it is that you're doing. I don't think, it's as scary as it is to revisit sleep training for a lot of families. It's not that it doesn't have to be that hard or that scary to you're not actually starting from scratch again. Like, that's the key component there, is that
you're not starting from scratch again. Yeah. Even though it can feel like it. We can assure you it doesn't eventuate to be like that. All right. Well, hopefully that has helped Bridget, and I hope her daughter is well and truly on the road to recovery. And we've just dipped our toe back into Sleep Detectives with this little bonus episode. But please, please, please tell us what you would like more of and in which format. And not only will we make all of your sleep wishes come true, we will make all of your nap-trapped wishes come true. Waving the magic wand.
Yay!
Wasn't that a nice way to end the episode?
Actually, somebody mentioned the other day that we did put some sleep magic through the screen for them.
That's right. In Cat Snooze. She was like, who switched out my baby? Thanks for my baby who was co-sleeping and up all night feeding around the clock, slept through the night.
That was amazing. So good.
So sleepy good. Dust to all of you. And in return, if you could please send us what you would like to hear in terms of Nap Trap and in particular Sleep Detectives. All right, everyone, you've got homework to do. We can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you next week on Nap Trapped. Bye.
Bye.
If this episode helped, there's a lot more where that came from. We've built a library of episodes covering every sleep stage and challenge, from day one through to the toddler years. Visit naptrappedpodcast.com to search by your baby's age or the specific issue you're tackling. Subscribe so you've got weekly support as things change. And remember, you don't need to figure this out all at once. One episode, one strategy, one night at a time.